Hello and a very good day everyone. So today we will learn on Power Pivot, pivot table and also creating a dashboard. So now if you look here carefully, we do have 4 different tabs, 4 different sheets in this file called Allen Hypermarket. So in this particular file, if you notice, we have Allen Hypermarket, a fictional supermarket which deal with inventories, region, has a list of suppliers, transactions. So if you look here carefully in these particular inventories, if you notice, we have product code, sub-product category, product and also RM. Meanwhile, in the region, if you notice carefully, we do have all the list of region, the countries, and also the region like Europe, Africa, Middle East, Asian Pacific, and so on. And then we also have supplier and we also have transactions. So now this is the data. So we notice that we have 4 different tables. So what we will do is we will try to use Power Pivot to create a connection. And interestingly, we also use pivot table to do some analysis, and then eventually we will try to create a dashboard. So let's get started. So I press Ctrl N. So when I press Ctrl N, what happens is it will create a new Excel file. And I'm going to close this file over here. So let me just close this and yeah, I'm going to save it. Right. So what I'll do now is I will use Power Pivot. If you look over here, notice over here, we do have a tab called Power Pivot. Alright. So you may ask me how I enable Power Pivot. Because in my Excel file, just say when you open your Excel file and you notice that you don't have the tab or ribbon called Power Pivot. So you might be wondering, how am I supposed to enable Power Pivot, right? So what you can do is you just press right click. Okay, you can right click at the developer or right click at the data, any of the ribbon, right click, and you can just go to customize the ribbon. So once you click customize the ribbon, you will notice that a big box will appear. What you can do is you can just go to add in. So we have add in over here, and instead of Excel add in, you click com add in. You press go, and eventually the com add in will appear. And what you need to do is you need to tick the Power Pivot and just press OK. So just like that, you will enable the Power Pivot. So now what I want to do in this new particular file is I want to go to Power Pivot, where I'll go to manage. Once I go to manage, you will notice eventually we will go to Power Pivot window. Okay, Power Pivot for Excel. And what I want to do is I want to import the data, because previously you notice I have actually opened Allen Hypermarket. So I'm going to do the same from other sources. And why other sources? Because the location is located not in this file but from other place. So I have to scroll down, okay, and I'm going to click Excel file. Why Excel file? Because the file Allen Hypermarket is located in an Excel file. Okay, so I'm going to click Excel file, next. Once I press next, they will ask me where is the Excel file. So if you save in your documents, you need to go to your documents. If you save in your desktop, you go to your desktop. So I'm going to click here browse, and you will notice that a box will appear. So I save in my documents. So under documents, I'm going to click here Allen Hypermarket and open. And what I need to do is I'll use first row as column header, and I'm going to press next. Okay, so once I press next, so here we have list of sources. So what I will do is I will just ignore the filter database. I'm going to click inventories, regions, supplier, transaction, because we do have 4 different tabs. So I'm going to tick all these 4 tabs, and then you can also just press preview and filter. So basically this is our database that we want to actually import. So I'm going to press OK, and I'm going to press finish. Just like that, eventually you will notice the data will be loaded and transferred to your Power Pivot. So I'm going to press close. So eventually you will notice that all these 4 different tabs will appear right now. Okay, so now what I'm going to do next is, okay, of course in inventories we have product code, sub-product categories, product category, product and RM. And then in region, we have location code, region, countries and cities. In supplier, we have supplier, person in charge, supply code. And transaction, we have all these details like shipment, supplier code, product code, location code, the date, the units and order status. So I'll go to diagram view. If you notice carefully, if you have used Power BI before, Power BI we have model view. In Power Pivot we have diagram view. Although the term is different, but it has the same context, whereby you can actually establish a connection between these tables. So I'm going to drag this and put it down over here. I'm going to do the same for the region, and also I'm going to do the same for supplier Okay, I'm just going to drag it and put it here. So just drag it this and put it here. And transaction, I'm going to drag it, put it here. Okay, so we do have this information. I'm going to expand this list. All right. So if you look here carefully, inventories, we have product code, sub-product category, product, and RM. Over here, we have product code. So what we can do is we can establish a connection between these two tables. So I'm going to click this product code and I'm going to link to here. Okay, so once I link to here, you will notice a connection as established. So the star means actually many and here is one. So basically a many to one relationship has been established. So in Power Pivot, many to one relationship means because this data over here is many. Many means it appear more than one time. This data over here is one. One means it only appear once. Okay, then of course I'm going to do the same thing. Here we have the location code. Over here also we have location code. So I'm going to select this and then I drag and link it over here. So just like that, another relationship has been formed, a many to one relationship. And then the same thing, supplier code, I drag and put it here. So now another relationship has been formed. Okay, so now if you notice, a relationship has been created. So from here, what we can do is we want to create pivot table also can. But before I go to pivot table, I want to go to data view. So if you got to use Power BI before, in Power BI, we do have table view. Similarly, even in Power Pivot, we have data view. Although the term is different, but it is the same context, the same concept. So right now, what we have is we have the units. However, we don't have the price per unit because in our inventories database, we have the price per unit. But transaction over here, we don't have the price per unit. So what I'll do is I'll just write here price per unit. So this price per unit is from where? It's actually from the inventories table. So what you need to do is, okay, in Excel normally what we do is we will try to create a VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP formula to match the data. But in Power Pivot, we don't use VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP. We use related. So what is related? Related is a measure which returns a related value from another table. Since there is a connection established between transaction and inventories, so what we want to do is we want to return the price per unit value. So I'm going to press tab and I'm going to select price per unit. Okay, so of course we don't have the price, we have inventories RM. I'm going to select this and press tab and then close bracket and enter. Just like that, you will eventually attain the price per unit value. And then what I'm going to do next is I want to create another column. And this one, I want to put total revenue. Okay, I'm going to put total revenue. And then what I want to do is total revenue is basically the calculation of units and price per unit. Because one unit is equivalent to maybe 4.5 ringgit. But we need to calculate the total. So one unit is 4.5. So if just say the total units, we need to multiply. So I'll just put here, okay, units. Okay, so of course you'll notice two units. So this one is general, this is transaction units. So I'll select transaction units. Why transaction units? Because the database is transaction and units, and then multiply with your price per unit. Okay, and you just press enter. And when you press enter, eventually you will notice that the total revenue will be calculated. And if you want to format, okay, so what you can do is you can just press the 1000 separator, and eventually the data will be formatted in an accounting format where it will have the 2 decimal places. And then from here, what you can do is you can actually create a pivot table. So I'm going to create pivot table over here. Okay, new pivot table. So from this pivot table, what I'll do is I just want to know the total sales from January to December. So what I'll go here is, okay, transaction. I will just tick the date, the ship date, and I will try to tick on total revenue. Okay, so the ship date I don't want, I'll just remove this, and ship date over here, I'll just put it over here. Okay, so now we have this data. And then what I want to do next is I will try to go to the status. Order status I put at the filter. Okay, at the same time also I also want to choose the inventories. So in pivot table, you are using based on one given table. But Power Query, what you can do is it can create a relationship, it can create a summary or analysis based on several tables. So what I'll do next is the sub product category, I'm going to put it over here. Okay, and the region also, location or region over here, I'm going to put at over here. Okay, so now we do have this data. So for order status, so I don't want to calculate for all. Instead, I want to calculate Okay, so I'll just select all these, select multiple items. I want to unselect the cancel. Okay, I want to select the cancel and I want to press OK. So this is the details. And then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to